You just lost your phone signal for an hour, and it felt like a small death. You checked it 11 times. You felt anxious, disconnected, alone. Now imagine losing a person. Forever. With no phone, no funeral home, no internet to announce it to the world. That was every death for the first 300,000 years of human existence, long before hospitals, long before ceremonies with fixed rules and rehearsed words. And the way your ancestors handled it is far stranger and far more familiar than you think. Start in northern Iraq, in a cave called Shanidar. In the 1950s, archaeologist Ralph Selecki uncovered Neanderthal remains scattered with clusters of ancient pollen. He proposed something radical for the time, that Neanderthals buried their dead with flowers. The idea was controversial. Some scientists argued the pollen came from burrowing rodents, not mourners, dragging petals underground for their own nests. The debate ran for decades, but more skeletons kept surfacing in more caves across Europe and the Middle East, and they kept showing the same pattern. Bodies placed deliberately, limbs arranged, not sprawled, curled into positions that looked almost like sleep, not discarded, not left for scavengers to pick apart in the open air. This matters because it means something clicked in the ancient mind long before writing, long before agriculture, long before your ancestors even looked fully like you. Something told them the dead still deserved care, even when caring cost time, energy, and safety that a hungry group of hunters could not easily spare. Why would a species obsessed with staying alive waste any of that on someone who could no longer hunt, gather, or reproduce? For a long time, that question sat there, unanswered, almost embarrassing to ask. Then move forward roughly 30,000 years to a site in Russia called Sungir. Anthropologist Eric Trinkhaus and his team studied 2 children buried there, laid head to head in a single grave, covered in thousands of painstakingly carved ivory beads. Each bead alone took an estimated hour of labor to shape by hand. Multiply that by thousands, and you are looking at what may be months, maybe longer, of collective work from an entire community, poured into 2 small bodies that would never see it, never wear it, never know it happened. That is not practical, that is not survival logic, there is no calorie return on carved ivory. That is grief, given form, because form was the only language available. Here is the reframe. Death rituals were never really about the dead. They were about the living and the unbearable fact of loss. Archaeologist Paul Pettit, who has spent decades studying Paleolithic burial, argues that these acts marked a turning point in the human mind. The moment your ancestors began to understand that death was permanent, they needed a way to make sense of the gap it left behind. A ritual is not for the person in the ground. A ritual is a container for the panic of everyone still standing above it. Think about what that panic actually feels like. The person who spoke to you yesterday is silent today. Their smell is still on their clothes. Their voice is still in your head, replaying things they said last week, last year. But they do not answer. Your ancestors had no religion built yet, no afterlife doctrine fully formed, no priest to explain where the person had gone. Just a body, a hole in their world, and an urge to do something with their hands because doing nothing was unbearable. So they buried the body with a favorite tool, something the hands had known well. With red ochre, a pigment that mimics blood and life, rubbed into skin gone pale and still. With flowers, with beads, with meat left beside the grave as if the person might still get hungry, still need dinner one more time. That is not superstition dressed up as ritual. That is love with nowhere left to go, so it went into the ground instead. And here is the twist. This behavior predates modern humans entirely. Neanderthals, a separate branch of the human family tree, may have been doing this before Homo sapiens even arrived in Europe. Grief, it turns out, is not a uniquely human invention. It may be older than humanity itself, sitting somewhere deep in a shared ancestor's mind, long before anyone had a word for loss. Now bring it back to you. You still light a candle. You still lay flowers on a grave you know the person cannot see. You still keep a jacket that still smells like someone gone, folded in a drawer you cannot bring yourself to empty. None of it changes their outcome. All of it changes yours. It gives your hands something to do while your mind catches up to a fact it does not want to accept. You checked your phone 11 times today because silence from someone you love still feels unbearable. Your ancestors buried flowers in a cave for the exact same reason.